the screen.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not on slow mo.
Stillness.
Yes. Take 100,024. Where did we leave off? Same place. Where are we going to? Same place. Is there anything new in non-duality for 2019? No. It's a simple invitation. It's a fact, really. Non-duality is a fact. It's the negating an assumed fact. That's what we need. Yeah? We don't need another fact to be claimed by the assumed fact. We need a fact to negate the assumed fact. Yeah? Not for the assumed fact to try to understand the fact. It doesn't go anywhere. No, the fact is in place, so hopefully something that's been assumed, a lot of things, gets to be questioned. And I don't mean by you, but questioned. You know, they're open to sort of, let's say, an infinite debate. Yeah? So now you entertain these ideas, and they're basically, there's not, to me, a non-duality meaning. If there was nobody here, which truly there is, but if there was no one here and you took a picture, that could be said as a non-duality meaning. But it's a duality meaning. That's what we're doing, yeah? You can't teach non-duality. It's a fact. What you teach is duality, so that that which is not duality can maybe go, hey, I'm not that, yeah? So you want to describe what you're not to what you are. You don't want it to be switched around and describing what you are to what you're not. It doesn't go well, yeah? You want to describe what you're not to what we are, yeah? Now, they both seem to be appearing, but one is of time, what you're not, and one is timeless, is what you are, yeah? So I know that in time, there's going to be gaps. You can throw enough balls where the mechanical mitt won't go up one time, and then the ball will hit the mark, yeah? I know it, because I've seen it. So in time, there's a lot of gaps. You can get something through. Timeless, there is no gap, yeah? So we're talking to what we are, which is always available at all times, because it's not of time. Something of time may not be available in time, yeah? But in timelessness is always available because it's not of time. So our target audience was here before you showed up, in a sense, and it's going to be here after you leave. We're throwing it to that, yeah? Because I know the, you know that Buddhist statue with the 1,000 arms, you know, and let's say they're all saddled with mitts. I know one ball can get past it. I've seen it. There's like a little fucking, you know, knuckle curve. Gets through the defense, and then it lands where? In what you are. And then what you are finally hears about what it's not. It doesn't need to hear about what it is. It is that. It's actually doing us a disservice to keep talking about what we are to what we're not. It does a disservice, because then what you are starts having an intellectual idea of what you're not, starts thinking it knows what it is, but it's already in a dilemma because it's knowing what it is as what it's not. What's the point? It's like adding weight. Yeah, the more knowledge about what you are held as what you're not, it goes against exactly what you're looking for, which is freedom from what you're not. Yeah, now. The idea of freedom held as what you're not is another form of bondage. You don't see it. If you don't see it, you're gonna see it. That's all you need. See, if somebody threw breadcrumbs on a trail, and you finally, maybe one time you saw it, maybe you would realize, hey, these crumbs have been on these trails for fucking forever. Hey, you're on to something, yes? Pick up the fucking breadcrumb. And go to the next one. And now you will get a sense, hey, if the message sort of disarms you, you're onto something. If the message is like a trumpet call to arm yourself, to get more engaged, it isn't serving you, really. Yes? So the idea is we're throwing the message, and I can't miss everywhere. Yeah, you can throw it this way, hit it that way. It doesn't matter. Yeah, all you got to do is get past the little mental defenses that are here. Yeah, which is easy because we're having our directors are right.
You were quick.
That's
a tape.
Just get the flavor of it. The flavor is, all right, this is how it feels when you're describing the horse in front of the cart the cart in front of the horse from the horse in front of the cart. This is how it feels when you're describing the cart in front of the horse from the horse in front of the cart. This is how it feels. You get a feeling of it, yeah? The feeling of it goes, sort of like if certain people get it, it's like if there was a group of dogs, they'd be going, oh, yes, that's what you're looking for. It gets through the little mental logic, and what the hell, yeah? And then, usually, if you listen to it's like a spiritual shoe store. You know, we're just putting out shoes, and if they fit, wear them. And then see what arises when you put the shoe on. Because some people have the mental state has a lot of investment in the spiritual life. A lot of investment, and it doesn't want to lose its spiritual face. So sometimes when someone who has been attempting to know the solution for 30 fucking years hears the solution, there's a little resistance to it. Because there's 30 years. What the fuck? You know? It's a little confronting. So what they want to do is go back to the old system. Oh, in time I will arrive, you know? It's going to take a little more time. This has nothing to do with time. Has nothing to do with time. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing to do with time. Yeah. All we want to do is point out the magicness of time, how time is being used by the mental state to imply and assume something that's not even there to have been there, and that it's gonna be there. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not there at all, but it just keeps assuming it was there, and assuming it's gonna be there. So then there's a sense, oh, I am that. But you don't get the sense I am that from I am. You get it from I was and I will be. It's a mental little contraption that's taking the I am and putting it into time. Now the sense of I amness is actually, when you feel the sense of I amness, it's inferring Paul as a body. Our own nature is being used to imply the authenticity of the false nature. It's mind-boggling, literally. So because it couldn't have a better reminder than the I am, because the I am is I am. It's always on, it's always available at all times. So that which isn't always on and always available at times claims it to imply that its product is always there at all times. You see it? It's a robbery. It's amazing. It really is amazing that it can get away with it. And it's lazy now, because now it's already won in a sense. You're starting from there. You're starting from its product, the feeling of being you. And now all it does is reinforce it and fucking just riff on it. Taking it down fucking neurotic tributaries and just fucking going off. And it's just like, you've been Pavlovian conditioned, you know? One thought is seen as you, about you, there's that you, yeah? But if you could get a sense of what you're not from what you are, you would see all that reinforcing is an advertisement. It's playing to an audience of none, us, what we really are. It's attempting to convince us of something, yeah? It's like we've been using this old story, and there's new people here, so bear with me. I'll try to do it in a different way. So I was going around the world and had nowhere to live, you know, just trucking around. I went to Istanbul, and in Istanbul, I met a couple people at the guest house, and then we walked around where there's a blue mosque, famous place, and then right nearby is this place called the Sophia, which was awesome. It was a mosque, and then they were cleaning the walls, and some shit came off, and there was mosaics from like a Christian church from the 1st century. It's mind-boggling, really incredible. So we were walking around there, and this very nice-looking guy with a nice suit came up to us and spoke great English. He says, "Hey, be more than happy to show you around." So I was a little suspicious, but we went with a very, very articulate and had, very savvy with the information. And then he sort of took us to this wall, this brick wall, knocked on the door, and a guy looking just like him answered. And then we never saw that guy, the first guy again. He sort of passed us like a baton. And the guy brought us into a rug emporium. Beautiful place. And of course they go, "What's your name?" "Paul." So, "Mr. Paul, do you want Turkish coffee, apple juice?" I went, "Apple juice." So he started bringing me apple juice. There was about 12 of us. We go in there, and then they start, guys all looking like this first guy, kept coming out with rugs, throwing them around. They look beautiful. The lights hitting them. They're incredible. Goes on, and they just re-up the coffee or the apple juice. You could be there for 4 hours. It's a huge performance. But you see, I don't have a flaw, F-L-O-O-R. I don't live anywhere. So I had an immunity to the fucking temptation or the advertisements of how great it would be to have a rug, because I had no place to put it. And they go, "Well, you can put it on a wall." I didn't have a wall either. I didn't have a wall, I didn't have a floor. So no matter how great the advertisement was, I ain't buying. And they were going, "We can fold it and put it in your knapsack." Like, I'm not going to Thailand with a fucking Oriental rug. It makes absolutely no sense, you see? So now, suddenly, if I had a house and a floor, I may have said, "Man," and then go through, getting it shipped from Turkey and all this shit, yeah? But I didn't. So what the advertising wasn't that attractive to me based on the fact I had no house. This is the whole freaking point of satsang. If the assumed fact gets questioned, the fact will become obvious. And the fact will give you an immunity to that which you're taking to be a true, authentic narration of this historical figure called Paul. You'll see it as an advertisement. You'll see it's attempting to sell you something all fucking day. Yeah? And now you have no interest. You lose a lot of interest in it. Yeah? And basically, the CNN news flashes get turned into Comedy Central, basically. You just fucking, this is unbelievable. What length this thing will go to attach me to some fucking far off idea that has nothing to do with me. So now you see it as an advertisement, and there's a possibility. You don't buy the product. Now, if you already take yourself to be the product, you're gonna buy all the fucking accessories. I gotta get matching fucking chairs, lamps, da-da-da-da-da. Yes, you're gonna be buying the fucking product line for quite a while. But if you see the first product, hey, I'm not that, then it weakens, yes? Because it's the keenness and the interestedness of the audience that makes the movie good. The movie can be seen through easily. But if there's already a bias or a prejudice by being identified as the fact that the movie is promoting, you're going to probably have a keen interest in the movie. And a lot of the ugly scenes you'll still be interested in with the hopes they're going to get great later. Yeah. And then it goes on and on and on. So what we're saying is the assumed fact is arising quite quickly, quite fast, and I would say it's a process, and I don't believe there's any process in time that's going to get you before that process. So therefore, every process that you and I do is open to be claimed by the first process, and that's what happens. So the meditation doesn't mean it occurs, but the head will be claiming to be the meditator. It just will. And it's going to be doing it pretty damn fast, and probably without your understanding of what's going on. Yeah. That's what we're attempting to warn about. And then you can see, all right, so you catch it once, you think it's over. It ain't over. It's tricky. If it can't get through the cellar window, it climbs up in the skylight. It's like that, remember that SNL thing? it's pizza, and it was land shark, pizza delivery, land shark, it's sort of, that's what it's like. It's like the land shark. How could there be a land shark? Exactly. But you know what I mean? So now, so how does it do it? All right, well, it hears descriptions, just conceptual descriptions, which are implied to be what it is, and it uses those descriptions to reinforce what it ain't. Yeah? So now it has a vast knowledge of itself being held in the vaults of what you're not. It doesn't go anywhere. How can you not see it? You've been through this enough. You've got to realize something is off. Where do I go wrong? Well, at the point. This is where it's all determined. Is the fact in place, or is an assumed fact in place? Yeah? If the assumed fact is in place, it may make the real fact a topic of conversation for itself and other assumed facts. and then all the assumed facts will judge how closer they're getting to the authentic fact, while always at all times being the authentic fact. So what needs to be done? Seeing what you're not from what you are, instead of looking for what you are from what you're not. That's the correction, really. Yeah. Just seeing what you are, what you're not from what you are. It's not hard. You're seeing it all day. I mean, it's not like the investigation started today. It's, you are really the seeing of what you're not. That's what we are. We're the seeing of what we're not. What you're not, what not. Suddenly you're gonna get the intimation sooner or later. Hey, I've always been what I've been looking for. Yeah? So then there's great master, Huang Po, Zen master, and he saves a lot of time. So he says, whatever can be perceived can't be perceiving. Okay, so really, the assumed fact that you're the seer, the hearer, the feeler, the taster, the toucher is baloney. Yeah, because it's being claimed as this, and this cannot be perceiving. It can be perceived, but it's not what's perceiving. All right, so that clears it right up there. And then he goes, all right, here he is at a talk, maybe, Huang Po, and he's looking at all of us, but he only sees the Buddha, let's say. So he says something very appropriate to the Buddha. Now, other people who would be one of us says, oh, you can't say what you're going to say because these are new people. No. He's not seeing them as new people, acolytes, someone who doesn't know what's going on. He's seeing them as the Buddha. So he goes to Paul and Steve and Bill and Mary, hopefully through them, not to them, through them, hey, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Now, why would he ever say that to Bill, Mary, Jim, or Sue unless they were the Buddha? Of course fucking not. It wouldn't. Why? Why? Why would he say that if there was a real Bill, Mary, Sue, and Jim? He would have said, Bill, Mary, you can't use Bill to seek Bill. But no, he saw the Buddha. Yeah. Now the mental state that was there was claiming to be Bill. We're claiming to be the body, and the body was really the imagining of being the seer, the hearer, the feeler, the taster, the doer, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what the body represents. The body wasn't there before the claiming. The claiming needs the body to fucking give itself an object, yes, as the doer, the thinker, because it wants to switch living as a verb into an interpretation noun verb. It wants to interpret that which is into a dualistic expression. So it wants to take seeing to imply or see or seen. It wants to take hearing to imply or hear or heard. Yes? So there's the hearing, the seeing, the hearing, feeling, tasting, thinking, all this verbing going on. The mental state arises, and then it sees the verbing, and it says the verbing is implying there's a noun somewhere. Now, if it isn't you, or if it isn't me, then God's doing it all, whatever. But it's always in the search for a noun, yeah? There isn't any in this moment, so what it does, it finds the noun in the past and the future. Yeah, that's what it does. It uses what's happening, or the only event here is verbing, yeah? And it uses that to imply, well, there was verbing before, and I had a lot to do with it as an imaginary noun, and there's definitely going to be verbing later, or why would I be so fucking worried about it as a noun? Yeah? I'm not worrying about the verbing, I'm worrying about what's going to happen to the noun concerning verbing, yes? So now, the sense of living seems to be lost, and now you get an interpretation that you're the liver, yeah? Not meaning the organ, but the doer of the verbs of living. You're probably better off if you were the liver, really. Yeah, you'd be right-sized at least. The idea of being the center of the universe and worthy to be thought about all day is mind-boggling, really. So, you watch it, it's like a robbery. You can see it, it's right in front of our eyes. Here I am, sitting here. So, Huang Po goes, hey, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Yeah, you can't use mind to seek mind. You can't use light to seek light. Yeah? That's it. That's his little warning. All right? So hopefully if Bill hears it, it gets confused. Well, I've been practicing Buddhism for 30 years. Now I got to give up Buddhism. That's just an ignorant reaction to it. Yeah? All right. Just maybe it's to the Buddha. The Buddha goes, hey, I can't use myself to find myself. That's fucking easy. And then it explains what? A lot of shenanigans in time get to be seen in no time. You're just like, what? And you realize that's exactly what I was doing. I've been using the Buddha to seek the Buddha. I was using mind to seek mind. I was using light to seek light. Now, obviously, I wasn't, but that's how it was from the narration. Yeah? So now the narration has negated itself, yeah? By a simple statement, it's sat here and 30 years has been negated. 30 years since I've been 6 or 7 years old, constantly looking to get out of Paul, but as Paul, yeah? So what? It hits you, what? What happens? I don't know, find out. Yeah? But fucking don't soften the blow. Just let it hit. Let it hit, it'll reverberate. See where it takes you. Yeah? And if it takes you to a lightness as what you're not, hey, why not entertain it? Yeah? Because what does this really want when it all push and comes to shove? It would love to start out with what it's trying to look for, which is contentment and satisfaction. It would love to feel chilled out instead of having to work really hard to have the experience of being chilled out. It would maybe like to start there. Yeah? All these mythical places I want to end is really based on an absence of a starting point. The starting point is irritable, restless, and discontent. And so the condition that could be available right now is seen as a goal to arrive at through time. So it drives seeking to look for what can innately be available, which is like an ease and comfort throughout your day, contentment, satisfaction. Yeah? Or like that statement in the yoga mantra on having never left. It's just an understanding that the fact is the fact. You never left the fact. So on having never left is a whole lot different way to travel through the day than hoping to arrive all fucking day. Seriously, a different feeling in the traveling. And that to me is the key. The traveling, not particular little events, but how you travel through all events, yeah? Are you traveling lighter through all events? Well, that's a damn good effect, yeah? Of what? Of not replacing the assumed fact with the fact, realizing there was no assumed fact. It didn't change anything. The fact is the fact is the fact is the fact is the fact, yeah? And then what happens? The assumedness of the fact is seen more as an advertisement than as a verification or just a reinforcing a fact. Yeah, you see it as the guy wants to sell you a fucking rug. And you don't need the rug. Yeah? What happens? I don't know. Find out. That's the beauty of the whole point. If someone tries to describe what it's going to be like for the seeming individual action figure, they don't have no idea. It can do whatever it wants to do. Yeah? But you'll know from whence the effects come. As Jesus says, you'll know the tree by its fruits. Yeah? You'll know the tree by its fruits. And conversely, you'll know the old fruits that you've been eating. Yeah? Biting the apple of time, hoping that I will be okay, or having memories I was once okay. You'll see through that, and you are okay. And it isn't like thy will be done. It's an observation. Thy will is done. This is how it is. Yeah, it's so beautiful to be weaned off of all this shit that just reinforces. It's like all this water being like all the water of Northern California being sent down to Southern LA to feed some fucking almond trees. It's all this mental water just constantly being set up like the pond of fucking Narcissus. So you're fucking what you're not going to get a big picture of itself. Yeah, that stagnant pond of self-centeredness is moving. Yeah. Like we always used to say, you go to the Colorado River and you get a glass of the water and you bring it home and people come over. Oh, there's the Colorado River. But you lost the biggest essence of the river, the rivering. You got a fucking glass of water. Doesn't capture it at all. It's the rivering, it's the living, it's the verbing. That's the point of satsang. The point of satsang is to leave you with your own devices so that you see you're not your own devices. If everyone wants to help your fucking devices, it reinforces the devices. You've got to get nothing. So the system, trying to do whatever it does, fucking gets disappointed and frustrated, and in those moments of frustration, something gets through, and more importantly, something gets out. Yes, something gets out. I'll help you learn how to touch this. No, fuck that. You can't touch it. You can't get it. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to express, and it's been taken over, and it's expressing perfectly the mental states. It is. We're totally dispersed in time, yet last week can ruin today, easily. One thought can ruin a fucking 3-week vacation. One thought can override the effects of Hawaii. It can. You can be in Hawaii, Lahaina, beautiful water, turtles, everything. One thought, will I have a job when I get back? There you go. Yeah, just like that. I mean, unbelievable power. Do you feel up to the task to direct that power? I don't think so. Shit, no way. So, see what you're not by hearing the descriptions of what you're not. Yeah? And then you'll find out what you are, and you won't be saddled by concepts of already thinking you know what you are. You'll find out what you are. And you'll realize there's only one possibility that we have concerning what we are, and that's being it. Being it. And because this place is verbing, there's never been a moment you haven't been being it. That which says it can interrupt that or cause it to be obscured is total baloney. It has no power. It's like the little Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. So now what? I don't know. You'll never get gypped. You'll be there sleeping. You'll be there dreaming. You'll be there here. You'll never be not here. You won't be trying to get into the moment. You've realized you can't be out of a moment. The whole drive of wanting to get into the moment is hoping that you get out of this moment. It's all based on a dualistic movement. How do you think that's going to lead anywhere? Two-ness isn't going to arrive at oneness. It never will. So yeah, you can just watch these two crows going by. That's what you're available for. You're available for all the different colors and shit like that. You're available for the sounds. You're available from all of that. And then if that is where you are, the seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, you will see what comes after. That's implying to be before. You'll see it. I mean, you can't miss it. Yeah? Because it appears here to what's here. It appears here to what's here. Yeah? It wants to presuppose it's where we are. It isn't. Yeah? We're here always, and it appears here. Now, the horse is in front of the cart. It makes fucking sense, yes? Yeah. And we're right in your gut somewhere, you know already. You deeply know. You deeply know. You just have to be weaned off of wanting to know and wanting this and wanting that. Yeah, like a friend of ours maybe had tons of demonstrations, and now he's moving into another thing of ordinariness, yeah? Which we used to always say dog shit awareness, yeah? Now, whoa, wait a minute. I want the fucking fireworks. Well, guess what? You're past that, yeah? This is like empty. I mean, literally empty, yeah? Empty, yeah? All the rocks you throw in don't produce any vibratory thing. It's just empty, yeah? But that emptiness is always available at all times, right where you are, with no requirement necessary. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That's where, like they said in the Bible, the Son of Man has no place to rest its head. Well, there's that place you can rest your head. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Any questions today? No? Yes.
Well, the whole purpose of this thing is expression, that's it.
Is expression, yes, sure.
Nothing more.
Nothing less. Expression's pretty cool. Cause, it's not a cause, it's an effect, yeah? Yeah. Watch, you can see it, like coming from recovery, okay? So now you know a person who's been sober for a few years. They drink the next day, and then when you see them, they look different than they used to do. Something is expressing through them, yeah? You can see it, their face structure can change in one night. That's amazing, like something else moved in and became the dominant driver, yeah? This is an expression, yeah? If you're taken over by that, you'll express it as ease and comfort, probably a damn good sense of humor. Because this place is definitely worthy to be laughed about quite a lot. And all these things. And that same thing, taken over by the mental state, was a fucking rabid, parasitical activity. Just shooting drugs. Yeah. So, was I that? Was I the addict? And now I'm released of that? No, there wasn't Paul there, and there's no Paul here. It's just whatever took it over. Yeah? Yes? Yes.
On the same vein, your description made me think of the term, the Western idea of I think, therefore I am. So if we're verbing,
Yeah.
how would we reconstruct that basic premise? Like, I think, period?
There, I am, therefore I'm not the thinker. I don't know. But yeah, that was a big mistake, don't you think? I think,
really
therefore I am.
A fork in the road.
Oh, it's a big fork in the road. Yeah. Yeah. We got roasted on that fork. Like a spit. Yeah, because you put what came after before, right? You put the thinking before the I am.
Right.
It's a very,
Elevation.
unbelievable. Yes. So, yes. So the negation would be, I'm not the thinker. Or you just leave it as I am. Like in Ramana would always say the thing from the Bible, I am that I am. Yeah, that's, yeah. Thought comes after. Yeah, thought is of time. Yeah, it's a process. It comes after. This is the thing. That which comes after the thinking process is being used to imply something that's before. So the thinking, if you can see it, right? There's thinking, yeah? And then the thinking is claimed, and then there's the thinker implied. But the thinker is derived from the thinking. There's no thinker without thinking. So the thinking is verbing. The mental state claims that verbing to imply a thinker. So the production of the noun of being the thinker comes after the verbing, but this is what it does. It presupposes or assumes, really assumes, that this made-up noun is before the thinking, and now you are claiming to be the thinker of the thoughts. You see, this isn't just a random occurrence. This is what happens all day. So now the thinking is claimed as something that I'm doing, and then guilt and shame and pride and all this shit grows out of that claiming. Yeah. Now, when it grows, to get out of it, you've got to fucking get some fucking good machetes, good skillful means. But as long as you're there, it keeps growing. You never get out of it once you're in it. Yeah. The relief is you're not in it. That's where the relief lies. The relief does not arise of being successfully of escaping something. It's seeing before. So you see the way you escape the hallway of shit and fans is you realize the only time the hallway of shit and fans is on is when I'm in the hallway of shit and fans. So maybe I'm not that in the hallway of shit and fans, and now I'm free from the effects of the shit hitting the fan. Yes. Trying to get free as that which is turning on the fan and producing the shit, good luck. You're going to have skillful means every second of the day. So the solution here is before the problem or the activity. So the freedom is before, not as a result of getting in or out of something, but before in and out. Yeah, like this. So now we use the term selfing, yeah, because I don't like the idea of self. If you talk about this idea of self as the long-lasting, independent, separate thing, is giving it too much credit already. You've already won. It's already won because it's being called a noun, yeah? So you want to keep it as a verbing. So selfing is what the mental activities are doing. If the attention and interest enters the mental activities, they're always in the act of being identified as a self. That's what they are. So when you go into memory, you're pictured as a body. Thinking, about future, you're pictured as a body. Thinking about past, you're pictured as a body. The perceptions see things, they don't see no thing. Yeah. So the whole system is formatted on you being a body in a sense. Yeah. All right. So here's the selfing. So the selfing's going on, and this happens a lot. When people first get introduced to the idea, they call me up or email me and they go, "Oh, I've been selfing all day." No, that's not it. See, the selfing was claimed to imply the self, and now they're talking from the product. They're going, "I was selfing all day." You see it? If you see it, you'll see it. If you see it in this setting, you'll see it in its activity. You want to catch the beast in the jungle, not at the zoo. This is a zoo, and we're pointing out, you want to catch it in fucking its natural habitat, which is mental, and in time. That's where you want to catch it, yeah, and you'll see it. So here's the selfing, and the selfing claimed to imply self, and then then there's a narration of I've been doing the selfing all day. You see it? All you got to do is catch it once, you'll see it. Yeah. Time is the main fucking ingredient of the magic trick. It's the main ingredient. Ramana Maharshi, everyone talks about him. One of his main sticking points, when you read a lot of people's writings about his teachings, is this one idea. And the idea he would frame as the problem or the greatest mystery, whatever. And so one of the ways he says it is there's a presupposing. So the word pre is very important, yeah? So Pre means time, yeah, before, yes? So when the supposing occurs now, it's presupposed to be a fact already. See, that's the whole, so the assuming of the fact gets presupposed, and now everything starts from it as a fact. Yeah, so you're already behind the 8 ball. It's like with like I did a lot of cocaine when I was out there. I didn't, but there was tons of expression of cocaine use, tons of it. But I never thought I was cocaine ever. 10 days on a cocaine retreat, which I would fucking much better than any other retreat you can go on. You'll learn more about what you're not on a cocaine retreat than all these other retreats, spiritual retreats. So there I was. So I never thought I was coke. We're starting. The mental state is addicted to the idea of being the doer, the thinker, the noun. It's already in place. We're starting from there. Can you imagine how far down the road, if I never even got close to thinking I was cocaine, because I was pretty far down the road of cocaine addiction, I wasn't even close to arriving at where we're starting from in the mental state. Whereas the assumed fact is assumed. It's presupposed. So here, the presupposing of a non-existent thing. Being what? An existing thing, really. So the presupposing of the non-existent thing, and then that non-existent thing wanting to get salvation for itself. If that's the case, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing. How can they destroy it? Fucking wear the shoe. And be done with it, really. Stop going to tons of shoe stores. Fucking find one shoe that fits and wear it. See what happens. See what drops. See what gets amplified. It's a beautiful statement. So here, we're trying to break it down. All right, so the presupposing of a non-existent thing being existing is the assumed fact. Yeah. Now that fact, which isn't, wants to get salvation for itself. It would be great if it was a fact, but because it's not a fact, you're wanting to get salvation for it reinforces the non-fact. Oh, so what? Well, it sort of hides the fact. Yeah? That's the dilemma. It's fine. Let's all dream. I mean, it's dreaming, might as well. You're not going to change that. That's what gives you a sense of comedy about it. Yeah, you're not going to change it as the assumed fact, but you're going to see it, and it's going to be hilarious most of the time. It is. So here, all right, the assumed fact, we look at it. Hey, maybe I'm not that. What happens? Now you're looking at it from the fact. Instead of looking from the assumed fact, you're looking at the assumed fact. Big difference, yeah? The big difference. Because if you're looking from the assumed fact, you're going to use what you are to look for what you are as what you're not. That's one of the dilemmas, yeah? The correction is, all right, I'm looking at the assumed fact. I see it. All it is subjective. It's suggestive. It's assuming and presupposing, yeah? Whoa, the audience is untouched. I've always been exactly what I've always been. Nothing has ever moved. But it sure seems to be different when I'm ingested in time and I'm believing that I'm the glove, then the glove seems to be what's living, even though it's the hand that's animating it. So the thing is, do I want to talk to the glove about not being a glove? No fucking way. I want to talk to the hand about not being a glove, so the hand will go, hey, maybe I can pull myself out of this. Yes, and so it is. Yeah. Just trying to warn us, save us time. I've seen it all. Maybe not all, but I've seen at least 8 of its locking moves. I mean, I don't think I need to see any more. We're lucky if we see one. Generally, so I don't think the students are going to catch up to the class, But yeah, we're just trying to point it out so that you can see it from what you are, because you are anyway. Yeah, it's not like, oh, this is going to be a Homeric fucking journey of moving from what I'm not to see it from what. No, you're seeing it at all times from what you are. We're just trying to make it a little obvious by let's look at what we're not. Please. Please. I don't want to hear another description of what I am. I don't. It doesn't go anywhere. It really doesn't. It's much better to find out what you are than to try to know what you are. It really is. It's much more revelatory. It doesn't come with all that it's like conceptuality. It's like fucking framing the Colorado River in a dry thing. It can't, You can convince others that have pictures of the river, but it's not very convincing. Yeah. So this thing changes everything about knowledge, everything. It switches the whole thing. It's really a loss of interest that goes a long way. You lose interest in topics that aren't that interesting, really. And then you gain interest in what? You'll find out. Your interest and attention will be available because they won't be totally absorbed in the preoccupation of I was and I will be. They're here, yeah? And to me, the presence that we talk about is really undirected attention and interest. When interest and attention is not being directed, it's just hovering and it's just there. And it's a joy in and of itself. It doesn't have to be used for fucking chores all day. Yeah. So, yeah. Any other questions? No? Yes?
You say we're not all the things we perceive,
No, we're not.
but there's also nothing that is not us, right? We're also everything.
Well, that's the conundrum. But how it is appearing, it is in us. But what's appearing is, yes. But this perceptual thing doesn't see what's behind the appearance. It sees appearances. So we're attempting to negate what it's affirming by its fucking misperceptions. Yes, that's the whole point. There's an assumed affirmation that needs to be negated. Is there any need for negation? No. But there's many assumed affirmations that need to be negated. And when they're negated, was there any need to have any negation? No. But in time, it sure seems like, yeah, you see the assumed shit from what you are, there's a negation of them, and then the feeling is they were never there to begin with anyway. But there wasn't a living of that while they were being factualized, so to speak, yes? So there's a negation of the assumed facts held by the fact, really, and so it clears it up. And then when the assumed facts get negated, you realize it's always been this way. So was there any need to negate anything? No. But in time, it seemed to go that way. Yeah? Yeah. It's like in recovery, we have a weird thing. So when you're out there using, there's a lot of shit you're trying to deny and avoid. Yes? A lot. And so you are basically most of your day, you're trying to make shit unreal that feels real. Like, I should have gave that money to my mother or shit like that, yeah? All that stuff. You're trying to make it as unreal as it can be. But in fact, when you get sober, you realize all you're trying to make it unreal was giving it a lot of reality. Yeah? So then perhaps there's a different way. All right, let it land and tell the truth about it. All right, so shit I was conveniently avoiding for years lands, you're an asshole, you're a user, you're this, whatever, you're a parasite, all this. You really fucked over your mother, and all it lands, and then it shows its reality, which is not real. But as long as you're trying to make it not real, it's as real can be. But when you let it be, when you let this place be as real as it wants to be, you'll see it as unreal. When you're trying to get out of it, you're more in it than ever. Seriously. So. Like you and I trigger the whole thing. You trigger the whole thing. What is looking? Looking here is seeing brought into time. So seeing, which is just is now looking. So we're using seeing yeah, here as the looker, and we're blind to what's seeing by using it to look. That's the diagnosis. What's one to do? I'm going to stop looking. No, fucking that's its trap. You know. So now you try to be the seeing instead of the looker. No, you just let it hit you, and then things get rearranged. Yes. Yeah. What is this? What is this but seeing right now? But the seeing right now has an element in time in it. It has an agenda, subtle or gross. It's looking, yeah? It's looking. There's an intent there. So that intention blinds it to what's seeing because the seeing has no intention. Just like the conscious contact doesn't demonstrate any effort or thought to be seeing right now, does it? And do you have volition? When you have a feeling and then your head says, I didn't want to feel that, didn't you feel it already? Yeah, so the feelings come way before the idea of the feeler. Yeah? So here's consciousness, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. Yeah? Is it demonstrating any effort or thought to see, hear, feel, taste, touch? No. Now the eyes may be broken, so maybe you're having a hard time seeing, but it's not the seeing that's having a hard time. It's the camera, yes? So the seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching isn't demonstrating any thought or effort to be itself. Why do you believe you're going to arrive there through thought and effort? It's so fucking unbelievable. It's insane. Like in Zen, they say, you can't use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. So, yes. No more questions now. No. If you want it, it's good to starve the questioner because it's the answer. The questioner is the answer. So sometimes it's good to starve the questioning, so then you're left with the questioner. And sooner or later, you're going to stop asking questions because you'll see the answer. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, eh? Let's pass the basket. We're going to go out to coffee if you want to go with us. Come and join us. Yeah.